understand? Now tell me your story.
It is important that we put on the record that the racial profiling that Keyon Harrold documented on that cell phone video, if not held accountable, leads to the racial profiling of Andre Hill being killed. It leads to the racial profiling of Ahmaud Arbery for jogging while black being killed. It leads to the racial profiling of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin walking home with a bag of Skittles and a can of iced tea being killed. It leads to the racial profiling of 12-year-old Tamir Rice playing in the playground in Cleveland, Ohio, being killed. It leads to the racial profiling of so many of our brothers and sisters being falsely accused and losing their life and their liberty for decades in prison. I mean, there are thousands of black men in prison because they were racially profiled and falsely accused. So this has larger implications. I mean, it was Emmett Till who was falsely accused and racially profiled that led to him being lynched. And so it is a larger conversation that has a larger impact on society. And if we don't hold this person accountable to show that there's not a double standard in America, that we can't have these two justice systems in America, one for black America and one for white America. Because we know without a shadow of a doubt, Reverend, if Keyon, if the roles would have been reversed, and you had a black adult tackle a white teenager and falsely accused that white teenager of taking a cell phone, we know that he would have been arrested for assault and battery. And so we're looking to the NYPD and we're looking to the Manhattan District Attorney to say, are you going to join in the racial profiling, or are you going to do your job and deliver equal justice to send a message not only to this family, not only to New York, but to America and the world, that equal justice under the law for all American citizens, so our children will know that it is unacceptable to racially profile them. And if you do it, that there are going to be consequences. Because wasn't it in Times Square with Central Park here in New York where we saw a black man be racially profiled, and thank God that we have video cameras. Can you imagine what the narrative would have been if Keyon Harrold had not videoed the incident on his cell phone? Just ponder that for a second, what the narrative would have been. Because we understand that this person already, Attorney Craig, is trying to allege that she was assaulted by Keyon. Now think about that. She is enraged. She's coming at this young man, his son, his cub, who she's never met before in his life, making these wild accusations. I mean, clawing, tackling him. See, you only saw the video that Keyon was able to capture on his cell phone. But we know that the hotel surveillance video has it all.
Right.
And you see his son being attacked by this woman. You see him being attacked by this woman. they didn't attack her. She attacked them.
Right.
And all he was doing was trying to protect his cub, as any good parent would have done. And I'm sure you all saw the interview, the only interview that his parents allowed him to speak and will allow him to speak, where he said, I don't know what would have happened if my father wasn't there. I don't know what would have happened if my father wasn't there. And so, it is, I get a little choked up, and I'm sure many people of color get choked up, because so often black men get stereotyped as not being there for our children. Well, thank God we have video documentation that we are here for our children, and that we love our children just as much as anybody else loves their children. You're going to hear from his mother, and his father is going to present to you in a way that he most comfortably communicates with the world. And then you're going to hear from my mentor, Reverend Sharpton, who has helped convene this meeting between the the Manhattan Attorney General, Cy Vance Jr., after we leave here at this press conference and rally. But before I introduce you to Kat Rodriguez, who you all saw her put her heart on her sleeve, because that was her voice, that was her baby. And we know the bond between a mother and son is probably the strongest of any other dynamic in the world. And you're going to hear from her as only a mother can. But I will say to all of you out here who are supporting this family, and all of you out across America and across the world who are supporting this family, it matters, because we have to stand united against racial profiling. We have to defeat racial profiling, because our children are dying. Our children are losing their liberty over racial profiling and being falsely accused. The fact that we all stand here in solidarity tells America that we can do better, that we can be a better America, a more just America, an America where George Floyd gets to take a breath without having a knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. A more just America where Breonna Taylor gets to sleep in peace without the police busting open her door and mutilating her body with 6 bullets. A more just America where Ahmaud Arbery gets to jog and run in peace and not be lynched for jogging while black. A more just America where Andre Hill gets to walk out holding a cell phone to engage the police and not be mutilated with multiple bullets and not be given any medical assistance while he's on the ground dying, and there are dozens of police all around, and where Keyon Harrold Jr. at 14 years old can come down off the elevator into the hotel lobby of the Arlo SoHo Hotel located here in New York City and not be attacked by a woman accusing him of a crime and then having to ask his mother, why me, mama? Why me? We can do better, America. We must do better. Now you will hear from Miss Kat Rodriguez, who is not only an incredible musician, but an incredible mother. Miss Rodriguez.
I had to write this down because I'm very emotional. And I don't want to go. First and most of all, I want to thank God because this incident could have ended very differently. We have seen this end very differently. I pray for the mothers and fathers that have lost their sons to racial injustice. I cannot begin to imagine how you feel because I know how I feel right now. And I'm overwhelmed and in a lot of pain. So I can't even begin to imagine your daily struggle to fight, even though these injustices happen daily. I am a teacher whose mission for the last 5 years have been building bridges in our communities. I love and care for all of my students, no matter the color of their skin, and they can attest to that. When incidents like this arise in the classroom, I hear everyone's side of the story. I'm an example for that. It breaks my heart that this is happening to our son. This incident could have been avoided in so many ways. The hotel manager, management, and security had plenty of time to de-escalate the situation before the lady had a chance to assault our son. When the manager, Chad Nathan, asked my son for his phone, he empowered that woman to assault my son and is equally to blame for this injustice.
That's right.
He chose to try and prove that he was innocent instead of using his hospitality tools and asking our 14-year-old son his side of the story. And giving him the side, and giving him the benefit of doubt and the same respect that we should all get. Innocent until proven guilty. Right. After the hotel helped the lady retrieve her phone, they did not have security ask her to wait for the police, which they said they called as per their statement, which you have seen. She was allowed to leave the premises with no repercussions for assaulting our son. If the shoe was on the other foot and this was a black woman or man who assaulted a white child, which I would never condone, do you think she or he would have been allowed to leave this establishment?
No.
Do you think that the police would be asking my son to do a lineup?
What?
Even though they had footage, video footage from the hotel, the footage that her son's father took, and a photo of the perpetrator, do you think that they would have let them leave? I don't think they would have. I have witnessed my son's father be racially profiled so many times. He's from Ferguson, so y'all already know what happens down there. I've seen him being put in handcuffs because he was mistaken for someone else that was tall and black who committed a crime. I have witnessed them hold him until proven innocent. Isn't it the other way around? Innocent until proven guilty? We are all supposed to have equal rights, but the reality is that we don't. So yes, this is a racial injustice issue. This narrative has to change. For my son to say, Mom, Why me? Why did this lady and the manager think they could accuse me? And then after having a race conversation with him again, which I've had many times, then he said, and you heard him say this, she was probably scared of me and threatened. No 14-year-old boy should be scared and threatened. They shouldn't have to feel scared or feel like they're threatening anybody. I don't care the color of your skin. Look at my color. My son should not have to be subjected to any more trauma. He will not be doing that life. Especially by the people that have sworn an oath to protect us all. Unfortunately, time and time again, our justice system has proven to protect the rights of brown, has proven not to protect, the rights of brown and black people. All that we are asking is for the police to do the right thing. Find this woman, which we all have seen, for the DA to do the right thing, to charge this woman with assault of a minor, with assault to my son's father, because she scratched him as he was trying to protect our son. For the hotel, which I'm equally angry at, because hospitality, that's what you do. I've been in hotels all over the world. And you're trained to use those tools. I called the hotel right after it happened. And I gave them a chance to make it right. And they did it.
That's right.
They did it. You know when they made it right? When my tribe, my community,
That's right.
They went on their site when people they didn't expect spoke up. They didn't know who they were messing with.
Right.
That's right. I want hotels in any establishment to understand that when a young man or woman goes into their hotel, or old, any age, you treat them with the same respect.
Exactly.
This fight is not only for our son, it's for all of our sons and daughters.
Yeah, yeah.
All of them. If we were a family that didn't have these connections, because I come from a one-bedroom apartment, welfare, okay?
Talk about it.
If I was a maid, this story wouldn't have hit the news. What about those people?
That's right.
What about those people that don't get to get heard? What about them? So I want to thank our tribe and our community. Thank you so much for all of my friends and family. But I want to ask you to please help us demand justice for my son, for our sons and daughters, for Keyon Sr., who we're forgetting that he also got attacked by this woman.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
My family, I'm thankful. This is my family. We are all very different and very much the same. We love each other so much, and we're there for him. It's just demand justice. That's it. Is it that hard? It's not. But the problem is that we're working for change, and we're fighting every day. So please help us bring justice, not only for my son, but for all of the sons and daughters that do not get their story. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kat. And heartfelt. I heard similar emotions come from Botham Jones' mother after he was racially profiled sitting in his apartment eating ice cream. I mean, where can our children be safe from being racially profiled? Right now, I mean, Reverend Al, we've often said we don't tell victims how to grieve. And Keyon Harrold Sr. is going to communicate with you how he knows how best to do so and what he does to try to heal. It's through his ministry and love of music. So I give you a person who I call a hero. I mean, he stood up. He stood up with his son.
Thank you all, everybody. Our tribe, music, industry, just everybody. Everybody who saw that video, who saw how it's not supposed to be. How it's not supposed to be. He literally was coming downstairs to have brunch, me and my son. And I ask you all, and I think about this all the time. My brother Emmanuel called me and said, Keyon, what if you weren't with me? I mean, I'm not a small guy. And literally, you guys saw what happened. I don't have to speak on it. Kat spoke about it. Attorney Crump spoke about it. But you all can imagine, because we've seen it happen time and time again. As a musician, as a trumpet player, my whole platform in music has always been about social justice and injustice. Me coming from Ferguson, knowing about Mike Brown, knowing about Trayvon, and thinking about all this stuff, I write music to lament these people. And unfortunately, this could have gone a lot, this could have gone very wrong. If I had come down after my son, you know, all these things I run back. If I had come down after. And my question to the hotel, this has nothing to do with the person on the video. Because she's on the video, everybody sees how not to act, how not to react, and how not to prejudge somebody, and you don't even know them. You know, my son was proven guilty before Chad could have acted. He could have taken the time to simply act. But no, he wanted to demand that my son give up his property that I bought for him. As a father. As a father. This is what we do as a father. This is not even hero stuff. This is stuff that we do. You know, this is what any loving father would do. Any loving father would protect their child at all costs.
Amen.
At all costs. You know, this is
At all costs.
You know, in an establishment like the Arlo Hotel, which is the brand that it holds, that should never happen. That I walk downstairs and be attacked by somebody. This should never happen. The protocol, I don't know what the protocol was, whatever the bylines of what their protocol is, was not followed because we were attacked. And they had time. They had so much time to normalize that situation. Security and Chad did nothing. They did nothing. And my son and I, man, my son, you know, the idea of trauma goes above any charge that could ever be had. I want my son to grow up whole. That's all we want. You know, I come from Ferguson, and this has been my passport. This has been my passport to the world. And I can't even come downstairs in New York City, prime New York City, and just go get brunch without being attacked and wrongfully accused of something. Everybody's heard the term, let me see your paper. Let me see your papers. That's what happened to me. That's what happened to my son. And that needs to stop. Because I'm a whole human. My son's a whole human. And I want him to be a whole man. I want him to have that opportunity. So many of our young brothers haven't had that opportunity to first of all, live and become whole men. We've seen what happens to them. We see that, and not the fact that we see what happens to them, it's what we don't see. How many people end up in prison forever? How many people end up dead? Because of mistaken identity, quote unquote, because of wrongfully accused by so many people wrongfully profiled, and this needs to stop. And this is literally a microcosm. If I wasn't who I was, thank God that He's given me the fortitude to do what I do on a high level, and I'm blessed in that way. This wouldn't even be an issue. The hotel played it down. The officers that I spoke to, they played it down. That's the reason why I posted the video, to show that this injustice, to show that this ridiculous treatment of people needs to stop. It just needs to stop. But you know, I've talked way too long, and we've been talking for the last couple of days. This is what I do. You know, and this is what I do to take care of my family. This is what I do to take care of my son, to put him in a position to bring him to places where he doesn't have to, and shouldn't have to deal with injustice, and shouldn't have to deal with being profiled.
Playboy, just rest your soul. I'll be